What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Believe Me with Brandon Lang, Kordell Stewart, and myself, Joe Cerualo. And Believe Me, of course, is brought to you by our sponsors over at BetOnline. Head on over to betonline.ag for the latest lines, odds, news, and developments, and use the promo code BLEAV for your first time, one-time 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline will match any deposit between $50 and $1,000 up to 50% with that promo code BLEAV, BLEAV. Head over to betonline.ag. It's where the games begin. All right, gentlemen, let's dive into another episode of Believe Me. That's the former Pro Bowl quarterback, Kordell Stewart. That's the career handicapper, Brandon Lang, and I'm your host, Joe Cerualo. Guys, let's take a look at last week. Kordell, Brandon, you both had great weeks for very different reasons. Brandon, you went 4-2. I'll give you the stage to gloat a little bit.
Well, it would have been 5-1, but like I told you, when it came to the Bengals and the Chiefs, I said if I go with the Bengals, they don't cover. I go against them, they do cover. So I said I'll make sure for all Cincinnati fans they do cover. I said Mahomes was 26-0 November, December. I never lost a game. They shouldn't have lost the game. It was amazing how they lost the game. But once again, I went against Cincy and they covered. So I really don't know if you can blame me for a loss in that game. That was more of a non-objective standpoint. But Giants, Niners, Saints, Dallas. I said Dallas would win by 100. They almost did win by 100. Although if you're going to tell me at 21-19, I was a little nervous, I'd say yes. Got up, went to the fridge, went in the back bedroom, came back, and Dallas had scored 2 touchdowns. Oh, pretty wild, pretty good. I think that's my 4th straight week of 4-2. So let's see if we can continue to make people money. But listen, I know somebody's on this show right now, happy as can be, that his alma mater is about to take a step in the right direction.
Kordell, what's going on in Boulder, baby?
Well, first, I like that Cincinnati game and that pitch you gave with the Kansas City Chiefs. I told you he was going to get his first one on the snide winning this time of year. But back to you. Here we go. Dude, I can't put enough on it with what Regents has done when it came down to the portal and loosen things up a little bit to allow even normal students to come to the institution, which now affords you an opportunity as the numbers roll in. As an Alabama, an LSU, or Notre Dame, when you start winning championships and you start winning, people start coming in, revenue comes into the institution. Football in itself. Now he can go and recruit those 4- and 5-star kids that we've always had way back when the Bill McCartneys were there. This move with Deion Sanders arguably it's almost like having a chance to get prepared for the Super Bowl week, right? In the National Football League. Everyone is anticipating to see what's going to happen. I mean, he's the 3rd highest paid coach in the Pac-12. He is, not arguably, but he is the best recruiter in all of college football because he does one thing different than all the other coaches. They support the program and the tradition of the program. This is about Deion and what he can do and what he's bringing to the program. And so when you have that, from him bringing his own luggage, and it's going to be Louis, to him bringing kids from Jackson State to create some competition, to actually releasing the majority, and if not all of the coaches on the coaching staff to start anew and bring in what he wants to bring in. I mean, the love affair has continued for not just alum and former players, but now the casual fan of Deion Sanders, right? Now everyone now is on the bandwagon. Even Tom Brady had a few great things to say on Instagram. He said, I'm following everywhere he goes. And you know he's taking care of his son with the NIL, with the Brady brand. So it flipped overnight, you know, and for me, you know, we're in this betting world, right? I'm guaranteeing you 6 or more wins next season. We could start it right now on this show. Believe me, I'm starting 6 or more wins for the Colorado Buffaloes next season. I don't know where we go from there, but I guarantee you 6 or more just because of what he's trying to do to the culture of Colorado football, dating back to the 90s and how Coach McCartney did it. It's even better now because social media, it's just trending. Go ahead. It's just trending. Go ahead.
I love it. I respect it. I agree with it. From 1-11 to bowl eligible next year, I think you can lock it in. So let's start with our games of the week. Brandon, Giants, Eagles. The Giants are undefeated against the spread as home dogs, and the Eagles are 7-point favorites in this one. Which side are you on?
The New York Giants shock the world and win the game. I said last week, Giants plus the points. They got it done. 7-1 against spread as a dog. 3-0 as a home dog. I'm going to say it again. Philadelphia Eagles aren't going 16-1. Not happening. There's going to be a couple stumbles. Divisional home dogs cashing in at about an 82% clip this year. Give me the G-Men plus the points. Buy it up to +7, set back. Get ready to collect.
Wow. Kordell, which side are you on, man? I know you love Jalen Hurts out in Philly. Do him and the Eagles go on the road, win this one by 7 or more? Or do the Giants keep it close?
Who doesn't like Jalen Hurts right now?
I knew it.
I know they're gonna probably maybe get a second win. I don't think this is the week to get it. Right now, over the last 3 weeks, Saquon Barkley, I think the cowbell of what they do on offense, been averaging 2.8 yards per rush over the last 3 weeks. They lost 2 and they tied 1. So that's nothing good. You're putting everything on the quarterback to basically go out and get it done. I get this thing of, Philly's going to fall apart at some point in time. They're going to have a slip up and thinking this is the week. This team is on such a great roll. I mentioned Ndamukong Suh. I think the mixture of all of these players where they know what they're making a run for is going to be this is a big game for them. Like, this is the Giants. The Giants are in the mix too. They have an opportunity to play for something within that division and also getting into the postseason right now. They have an opportunity. I still see this Philadelphia's football team with what they have. I think it's too much for them. I think they're going to get the win, and also they get the spread too as well.
Bruh. It was hold on. It was just 2 weeks ago that your Eagles almost lost to the Colts. Joey, go ahead, baby.
I mean, Brandon, yeah, you're right. The Eagles went on the road. They only beat the Colts by a point. I think they win this game, but 7 is a lot to lay on the road. The Eagles have not been good on the road. Just 1-4 against the spread on the road this year. Now, look, the Giants have lost 8 of 10 against the Eagles, but they've covered 7 of their last 10 against the Eagles. I'm with Brandon. I'm with my Giants on this one. We've got a crazy spread in this next game. The Minnesota Vikings headed to Detroit. The 10-2 Minnesota Vikings are 2.5-point underdogs at the 5-7 Detroit Lions. Kordell, are the Lions going to beat the Vikings at home in this one? Which side are you on?
The crazy part about this is Jared Goff and his offense can put points up. They can get yardage. They can do everything under the sun when it comes down offensively, when it comes down to making things happen. Kirk Cousins, I know my man over here, beloved. He's not a big fan of him. But I'm riding with the Minnesota Vikings, bro. I think this number at 2.5, at this minus 2.5, is just enough for them to kick a field goal, for them to win by a touchdown in order to get that win and also beat the spread. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings with Kirk Cousins. I think the momentum continues, keeping them under wraps. I think they actually get this dub over that mighty offense that the Lions have.
Brandon, can the Lions make it 4 straight wins?
What are these numbers? 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. Those are 5 of the 7 Lion losses that could very easily have been wins.
Yep.
So the general public views the Lions as a 5-7 football team. The boys in the desert view the Lions as arguably, potentially an 8-4 football team and a playoff team. How else do you make sense of the fact that a 5-7 football team is favored by 2.5 over a team that is 10-2? They had the Bills beat. They led Miami 14-0. They were about to take a 13-10 lead over Dallas in the fourth quarter when they fumbled. This Detroit Lion team is in the go zone. I just keep going back to Buffalo. They had them beat. The Vikings are living on borrowed time. Take the Lions minus 2.5 and trust the boys in the desert that they know what they're doing with this one.
You know, under normal circumstances, I'd be inclined to go Minnesota in this one and go with Kordell. The Vikings have covered 5 of their last 7. They've won 6 of their last 7. And look, if they're winning 6 of their last 7 when they're favored by 2.5, they're probably going to cover should they win this one. But Detroit had them 24-14 week 2 on the road in the fourth quarter. Detroit, Brandon, to your point, could just as easily be 8-4, dare I say 9-3, as they are 5-7. They're at home where they've been incredible all year. They're also 4-0 against the spread, coming off a straight up win. B. Lang, make it twice in a row. I'm with you. I'm with the Lions.
There it is.
We've got another divisional matchup, fellas. The Cleveland Browns headed down to Cincy to the jungle to take on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And the Browns, now with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, 6-point underdogs. Brandon, which side are you on here?
Hardest game on the board to pick here because Joe Burrow's 0-4 against Cleveland.
Yeah.
The Bengal team that's covered 9 of their last 10. So something has to give. So I'm going to say it again to all Bengals fans out there who love their Bengals and love our show. I'm going to do you a favor. I was one of the few people in the country that had the Browns on Monday night plus 3.5 over the Bengals, and they put a can of whoop ass on them 32-13. They got pressure on Burrow, made him look horrible, and I think they do the same thing here. So I'll take Cleveland plus the points, which assures the world that Cincinnati is probably going to win this game by 7. I'm going to take Cleveland plus the points.
Kordell, which side are you on here? Does Cleveland keep it close, or does Cincinnati win this one by a touchdown or more?
I'm going with the home dog. I'm sticking with Cincinnati. I mean, I just watched what Joe Burrow has done without Jamar Chase, and you can't question it. You can't doubt it. You've seen what they've done against the Kansas City Chiefs. Anytime it's time to get a touchdown score or more, they're capable of doing it with some time on the clock. They're also playing at home. I know the Browns feel like they have their way with it. I don't think that happens because this team, for some reason, has turned it around over the last 3 to 5 weeks. It's been a totally different football team compared to what we saw with the struggles early on because they end up losing Jamar Chase and they had to try to figure it out. They figured it out. I think they're on a roll right now. I'm going to stick with the Bengals in this one.
Hard to go against that, Kordell. Brandon, I mean, if you watch that Cleveland game last week against Houston, Deshaun did not look good. The offense did not look good. They had 2 touchdowns from defense and special teams. I mean, after seeing what Cincinnati just did against Kansas City, doesn't any part of you think, again? All right, Burrow's going to win his first game against Cleveland, and he's going to win it big?
The man was distracted. There's an old movie that came out called Sharky's Machine with Burt Reynolds and Rachel Ward. She'd never hotter. And a politician, Rachel Ward played a high-priced prostitute, and the politician thought he had killed her. And he's speaking at a press conference, and every time he looked out in the press conference, he saw Rachel Ward's face. She moved around, and he kept seeing, and just completely... That was Deshaun Watson last week playing in Houston. He looked around, and all these massage therapists' faces were in the stands of Houston, all over. He was in the huddle. He's looking at his running back, and he saw Juliet from Atlanta. And then he dropped back to pass and looked out to the flat, and there's Monica from Connecticut. And it was just everywhere he looked, he was distracted. I think back in this situation, I don't think it'll be as bad because in my research, I don't think I saw any massage therapists from the Cincinnati area. I think he'll be fine. I'm going to go with Cleveland.
It's a great point, Brandon, but I'm still with Kordell. I'm with the Bengals -6 in this one. They just look too damn good right now. And if Brandon's picking against the Bengals, bet your ass I'm picking the Bengals. Gents, Tom Brady headed home to the Bay Area for just the second time in his career. He is taking on Brock Purdy and the 49ers. I never thought we'd be talking about Brady versus Purdy, but to make it even crazier, Brady, for the first time all season, is an underdog in this one. The Niners, 3.5-point favorites against Tom Brady and company. Brandon, starting with you, which side are you on?
Ugliest game on the board. Ugly. With that being said, you look at Tampa Bay's defense. Some offenses they don't match up with, Kansas City. Some offenses they do match up with. And when the Tampa Bay defense gets a favorable matchup, they are able to dominate. And I think here, facing Brock Purdy with that defense and that scheme, I think they're going to be able to hang around here. I think the Niners win the game, but I think this is going to be a field goal game. I think it comes right down to the wire, and I think you've got to play Tom Brady as an underdog. Right side of the game, Tom Brady plus 3.5.
Kordell, which side are you on? You going with Brady plus the 3.5 points, or does San Francisco, Christian McCaffrey and company win this by 4 or more?
I'm going with Brady. I'm trusting that. I don't think this Purdy thing is, and I get you pull back a little bit, right? The backup, it seems like the backup's game plan is always a little bit better, right? Because they're a little bit more conservative. They have a chance to play complementary football, great defense, run the ball extremely well. They can run the ball well. They can do a little trickery with Christian McCaffrey come out of the backfield and Debo. And so, you have to allow yourself to say, okay, this guy over here, number 12, is still pretty good. We just watched what he did this past weekend. It was freaking phenomenal in the last closing minutes against the Saints. We saw it. It was special. I'm going to ride with the special. I'm sticking with special. I'm going with Tom Brady. I think they're going to actually defy it and get it done, baby.
First time today, the experts are in agreement. I will say, I really love the Dolphins plus the 3.5 plus the 4 last week. San Francisco pulled away late. I don't know, man. San Francisco's covered 4 out of 5. They've won 5 in a row. Tom Brady and that Bucs offense, they had nothing for 3.5 quarters last week against the Saints. I mean, I'll trust you guys on this one. You're going with the GOAT. He's an underdog. Usually that's a recipe for disaster for the other team, but San Fran's playing hot. You cannot say the same for Tampa Bay. How about Monday Night Football? Speaking of Tom Brady, His old team, Bill Belichick, the Patriots, headed to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. New England, favored by 1.5, essentially a pick 'em. Kordell, who wins this game?
I'm going with the Pats. Even though, like you alluded to, they failed to cover in the last two in their last 9, they're 6-3. I just think this Cardinals team, they don't know who they are. Defensively, they're giving up too much. Offensively, they have no rhythm. It just seemed like they're a football team that's out there just playing football to have, just for the sake of contracts, for the sake of they have bodies on the roster. But this team in the New England Patriots is playing some pretty good football. They're coming up short in some cases, but I'm gonna go with this crew right here in the Patriots and Coach Belichick. And I think he actually caused and creates even more problems for this Cardinals offense when it comes down to what they're trying to do. I'm going with the Pats, baby. Plain and simple. I'm going with the Pats.
Brandon, you guys going to agree for the second time in a row, or are you on the Cardinals as a home dog?
Not at all.
Mac Jones might be the second coming of Matt Castle. I think it's over for our boy. I think he'll be back offensive coordinator for Nick Saban in Alabama. Mm-hmm. I think the New England Patriots are done. Watching them in that defense get absolutely shredded by Minnesota. Their defense played a little better at home, but offensively they were god-awful at home against Buffalo last week. Now you're asking them to go out to the desert and find it against a desperate Arizona team. I'm sorry. Sometimes when you handicap these games, you come to a crossroads of advantage at quarterback. Kyler Murray, Mac Jones. I'll lose with Kyler Murray and a near pick 'em. Simple as that. I'm not going to sit there and watch Mac Jones struggle against anybody on the road. I just can't do it. New England, just to me, I can't root for them. I can't root for the man in the hoodie. I just can't. I can't root for him and his 82-year-old smirk. I just can't do it. I'm going to take the small home dog.
Sounds personal.
For as much as Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than Mac Jones, Bill Belichick is even more of a better head coach than Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, you're on the opposite side. You've got the way better head coach in New England, the way better quarterback in Arizona. New England is working with 11 days off between games. They're going from Thursday night to Monday night. To Kordell's point, they've covered 6 out of their last 9. I just, when you give Bill 11 days to scheme for an offense that I don't think Cliff Kingsbury knows how to use his star quarterback. Don't forget, everyone was anointing Kingsbury the next McVay, the next Shanahan when they hired him 3.5 years ago. Well, at home in those 3.5 years, he is 12-18 against the spread. I'm with Kordell. I'm with the Patriots in this one.
He played on Thanksgiving and lost to Minnesota. He had 11 days to get ready for Buffalo.
7. It was Thursday night. Back-to-back Thursday games.
Okay, so 7 days. I still think he wears an adult diaper here and urinates on himself. I'm going with the small.
I love it. How about the game of the week, gents? The Miami Dolphins coming out to LA, coming out to visit me, take on the Chargers, and they are 3-point road favorites. It's a battle of the 2020 draft class. Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert. Kordell in this battle of quarterbacks. Who do you like?
I tell you what, even though this offense is really explosive with the pieces that he has on the outside, Tua that is, they hadn't been able to get much done on the road. Okay, and what I mean by that is they haven't won by much. I think they won by no more than 4 points on the road. This is a must-win for them because this is a conference play right here. If they get an opportunity to get this win, you get it under their belt, this puts them in a good position in the AFC. Even though I like the Chargers, I think they're good. Herbert, I think they've done well. They've done some really good stuff, not as consistent as I would like to see them. I'm going for Tua just for moral victory purposes. They say this dude could not get it done, and he's been playing lights out football ever since he came back from his injury that he had, I think, week 1 against Buffalo, or even against Cincinnati when he played against them too as well. So I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. I like them on the road. They finally get one done by more than 4 points. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Brandon, another home dog for you?
I sat right here on the show last week and said pressure equals problems. I said, you let it drag you in the champagne room. As soon as you walk into a strip bar, pressure equals problems. San Francisco 49ers got pressure on Tua. That equaled problems. Now you're asking them to cover a 3 number on the road with a defense that really can't get stops. First of all, for all you bettors out there, bet the over in this game. It's going to be a high-scoring game. But with that being said, I think Chargers at home getting 3.5. Again, what I feel is probably going to be a field goal game. Take the dog, get to 3.5. The Chargers will fight in this. I think Herbert's a good matchup. Keenan Allen on the outside, Waddle and Tyreek Hill get all the pub here. But you watch the Chargers fight in this game. Give me the home dog plus 3.5.
I think Herbert's going to play hungry in this one. All of a sudden, all the people who were saying Herbert's this, Herbert's that, now they're backtracking a bit and saying, well, what's this guy done in the NFL? He's going up against Tua, who's finally having his breakout year. Brandon, I couldn't agree with you more. I think this game is going to fall right on that 3-point number. It might very well be a push, but I'm going to take my chance with the home dog over the away favorite.
By the half.
Always, man.
Okay.
All right, guys. We've reached that point in the show. It's always my favorite point in the show. I want both of you to surprise me. Give me a game that wasn't on our board today that you absolutely love this weekend. Brandon, we'll start with you.
Well, it's a game that's on the board, but it's a stat that will surprise you.
Okay.
In their last 18 home games, let me say it again. In their last 18 home games, the New York Giants have gone under the posted total 17 of those 18 games.
My goodness.
The bonus over under is Army Navy on Saturday have gone under the posted total in 15 straight games. 15 straight years those two guys have played under. Let's make it 16 straight years, and let's put the Giants to 18 of 19 unders. 2 unders for you. You're ready to rock and roll. A 2-0 sweep from your boy, B. Lang.
I love it. Kordell, what about you? I have a feeling I know where you're going with this one, but what's your bonus game of the week? Maybe you can really surprise me on this one.
Where do you think I'm going, baby? You know what? I know it's the game of the week, but this situation in Colorado is beyond me. I'm just sorry. You know, it's so far out there to the point where it supersedes anything that happens in the National Football League this year. Again, as I said when we started the show, my bet, and I'm going to do it right now on this show, is that Colorado gives you 6 to 7 or more wins and put them in position to not just play in the playoffs or have a bowl game, if you will, but to play in the playoffs and have a chance to play for something special. Probably winning the Pac-12 next season. That's what I'm putting down on the table right now. As of what's today's date, guys? Give me what's the 7th? It's today the 7th?
December 8th.
December 8th? That's where I'm going with this right now. I'm going past all the games this week. I think we talked about that enough. B-Love, he's the best at it. Joe, you follow up really well. We're talking about the Colorado Buffaloes because that's what it's about right now. Even on a Sunday, it's about Colorado. Even on a Monday and Monday Night Football, it's about Colorado. Let's go.
Kordell, since you're all in love with your alma mater on today's show, yes or no question, real quick before we wrap it up. Dion calls you tomorrow and says, Kordell, I want you to come coach my quarterbacks. You taking that job?
What? I'm going yesterday. If he calls me tomorrow, I'm going yesterday. You hear me? That's my guy, man. And he's doing a great job. And yes, I'm out of here. I'm sorry, guys. But we still do our show, though.
All right. Fair enough. I love it. That's it for another episode of Believe Me. For Kordell Stewart, for Brandon Lang, I'm Joe Cerualo. We'll see you next week.